I suppose you don't really, I don't know. You just like kind of go into a room and meet people that you've never met before. It's like a really weird job, songwriting. You meet strangers, you open your heart up, try and write a song, and then leave. So you can't really prepare for that. I think it's like normally starts with a cup of coffee. How's your day? What you been doing? Get to know a bit about you. And then, just start jamming on the guitar or piano. That's pretty much it, really.
I think it's good to go in fresh, because I think with songwriting there's the conversational layer of everyone chatting, and then there's that underlayer, which is where I always think where the music comes from, and you're slightly reading people and reading the mood subconsciously, and then that comes, I think, up in the music, and then that for me is where the song comes from. So it's almost like there are two layers. There's this conscious. It sounds really weird.
No, I was actually just looking at you going, that's a really good answer. Why didn't I say that?
Yeah, but it's like a weird subconscious thing, and it's like then someone will say something, but it kind of leads to something else. But it's recognizing. So you have to be really open, I think. Yeah.
I mean, people sometimes have ideas on their phone. I think a lot of people think of a lyric and write it in their phone, and people will be like, I have this idea. And it usually turns into something completely different than you started with.
Yeah.
But it's always different, I think.
I think that's absolutely right. I mean, I think that's actually, maybe I should do that, because I don't do that. I actually do come with all these ideas. Maybe I should just sort of let it. But then I don't think lyrically. I seem to be the only person who doesn't think about words, so I never have any subject matter. So for me, every session's completely blank page, but I've got all these musical ideas, and I just have to hope that someone there on that day lets one of them click, or they get going on something, and then I can just jump in and help make the thing come together, hopefully. There's no answer to that. Today's like 3 hour sessions is tight. I mean, but it does happen. You can do it.
I would say that there's definitely these guys from Nashville. It's like they're almost trained, like mentally, to kind of write real quick, and it's almost like you don't want to think too much. That's what I've learned from today, is that it's almost like get an idea, and if it's good, then go with it. Don't like second guess it and spend time worrying. It's like no, because you and weirdly you get a song done, or don't think.
Yeah, it's a different mentality, I think, like in Nashville. Both me and Catherine have gone to Nashville, and it's just like, it's a different kind of game. It's very heavily lyric based, and sometimes we will do 2 or 3 sessions. So I don't think for us today was much of a, it wasn't like we wasn't shell shocked. We actually knew what to expect, because these guys do treat it very much like a day job. So for me, it's like, I mean, out the 2 sessions, we've got 2 great songs, and that's kind of the norm for us. But like you're saying, it's like generally just don't think too much. Like if something is flowing, then kind of don't question it. But it tends to be more lyric heavy in Nashville than anywhere else that I've ever been. So I mean, everyone got 2 songs out of the 2 sessions, so we did all right.
Yeah. I mean, like I went in and Randy was like, let's just talk, let's just see what we can get, let's have fun, and let's not have too much pressure on ourselves. I think as long as you do that, that's more the point. So
they're used to writing 2 a day, aren't they, in Nashville? I mean, that's kind of the format. It's 2 songs a day, so it is a different. It's like school, and they do it the working hours of the day. We don't. I don't think we have that formula really here. We just sort of every session's whatever happens, isn't it?
Angelina was in our session, who's from Nashville, and she was kind of like questioning stuff that we did. She's like, "You guys don't do that. Oh, but you guys do this." So it was from across the pond. It was quite nice because you kind of got to share how both of you work, and I think both like people brought something to the table, which like when 2 worlds collide, it was quite good because you probably got something different than you would normally get, I think. Do you know what I mean? Because when we're over there, we just write with Americans. Yeah. Generally, it's not a mixed kind of group. So today was really interesting, I thought.
I normally work in sort of pure pop, really. So I think, the lyric, definitely. And also just the space. in, you know, almost giving a lyric a bit of space around before and after, rather than giving us a drum beat or something. It's like the singing and those are the key elements. So the voice and the lyric, that's what you need. So yeah, that's where I think for me there was a major difference. And not so much melody, maybe a bit of melody, but not all the time. Or, yeah.
There is a clear difference, but as someone who, I mean, I haven't worked very much in country, but I like it. I listen to it. It's another genre of music I'm quite into. Pop is really the centre of things for me, but I think it is pretty closely now in country too. There are almost two different types of country. There's the country, and then there's pop country, which is really where pop rock has gone now, I think. And it's the modern Bryan Adams kind of thing, which I grew up listening to as well, so I get it. I mean, it's just...
It's emotion.
It's classic pop rock stuff.
It didn't feel... what I was feeling when I came here, I was like, oh, it's going to be vastly different the way everyone does things. And I'm going to be like, oh, this is all... But actually, I kind of like, no, actually, it's not that different. And like...
It's more in the sound, isn't it? It's more the production that's just slightly different.
Yeah, but the actual song and the emotion and kind of like the weighting of how you weight a lyric or whatever, it kind of like, well, that's just kind of the same. It's like, you know.
I don't know. I mean, I think it kind of depends like on the individual writer. Like in this situation, we knew we had like 3 hours for each song, and so like I knew it was going to be a quick session. Like in Nashville, I find the main difference between writing here and there is that in Nashville it's just super quick, and so like I suppose in that way it was kind of the same, but every session's kind of different, just like how you connect with a writer, or what the vibe is, or like what mood everyone's in, or how creative everyone's feeling. So yeah, I don't know, it was just kind of just depends on the person really more than anything.
I don't know, write good songs.
Tell your own truth.
I feel like it's something that I'm still learning to do, like just be confident enough to say what you actually think, because like I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, especially whenever I'm like with songwriters. I'm like, they know what they're doing and I don't, and like I think a lot of the time it's like people think their ideas are really bad, so they're afraid to say them. So I think like just say your ideas and see what people think, and don't be afraid to like go with it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'd second that as well. Definitely. I think that's because it's scary when you're in a room with people you've never met before, and someone, there is always a kind of, you know, there's always someone who takes control, and that's great, but it's not always like the right move, and it's like well, maybe if you think of something that's not quite right, just, you know, it's like, don't worry, just say it.
Yeah. I would say like writing for me is as much about navigating people in the room. It's a very social thing. So I think like, I mean, anyone can write a song, but to get a great song, there's got to be lots of combinations that click. So together with telling your own truth, being confident, all them things, and like nothing is ever wrong, like in music. Nothing is ever stupid. Like, you know, when you look back on like all the songs that we used to dance to when we were younger, like you look back and you go, I can't believe I did that. What's that lyric? But it works at the time, and it's just like an emotion and a feeling. And like what we were saying today, if it feels right, then it probably is right. So don't question it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's not always a nice experience.
No, it isn't.
I mean, sometimes tension and kind of like arguments are really part of it. But
But you don't have to. I think there's a.
Have we had a fight before?
I don't think so. We wouldn't do that. I think there's a myth a little bit around, you know, writing. You need to be writing. You need to be in the right place with the right people writing. But I think sometimes you can focus too much on whether you're sort of in the right zone with the right people, whereas actually what you could be focusing on is who you write best with, or, you know, maybe you write it all yourself, then brilliant, just keep writing, write great songs. But if it's your mate who's also, you know, lives around the corner and writes great songs, and you guys know you write really well together, then you should just write with that person.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Look for the name, because people there's one thing that keeps this industry together, and that's good songs.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
Mm.
And 20.
And me.